Good morning, my fellow yogic travelers. Mighty glad to be alive today, and I hope that you are too, as we continue to live, laugh, love, learn, linger, and live the life we love. It's Monday, so it's Poetry Day. Jalaluddin Rumi, my favorite mystic poet, originally from Afghanistan, ended up in Konya, Turkey, founding the Mevlevi dervishes, the whirling dervishes. Here's what he has to say in this poem called These Spiritual Window Shoppers. These spiritual window shoppers who idly ask, "How much is that?" Oh, I'm just looking. They handled 100 items and put them down, shadows with no capital. What is spent is love, and 2 eyes, wet with weeping. But these walk into a shop, and their whole lives pass suddenly in that moment, in that shop. Where did you go? Nowhere. What did you have to eat? Nothing much. Even if you don't know what you want, buy something, just to be part of the exchanging flow. Start a huge, foolish project, like Noah. It makes absolutely no difference what people think of you. All right, my journaling word for the day is cosmology, from that Greek word cosmos, which means order, the order of things both seen and unseen. And as Joseph Campbell reminds us, that cosmology is one of the 4 aspects of what mythology is supposed to do, besides hooking you up to the mystery of existence, the mystical. The next thing it does, it gives you the general sense of how things came to be, the Genesis story. That's your cosmology. So what brings order to your universe and covers both the seen and the unseen? Think about it, elevate the conversation with your friends, or let me know what you're thinking, and I'll tell you how it pans out in my life. All right, now, my teacher, B.K. Iyengar, says that yoga is the hunt for rejuvenation, how to make yourself young again, fresh, virginal. And whether you do it sabija with support or near bija without support, whether you use the props or not, doesn't matter, as long as you find your way to how to create the yogic state of clarity, insight, non-attachment, egolessness, and certainly unite the individual consciousness to the universal consciousness. Now, in order for us to make society work, first of all, we say, how do we make things matter? Well, most societies are contained by a centralizing myth that provides a reason for being, a reason for getting up in the morning. And cooperation is necessary, at least between 2 people, to maintain some level of ability to work it out together. And the important thing is to understand that we all will make mistakes. And as my old hippie teacher used to say, what you do when you're losing it makes the difference of whether you get it back or you spin out of control, like turning the wheel the wrong way in an ice skid, right? Strangely enough, it's turning opposite that makes it skid more. Turning into the skid is how you get the control back. Think about that the next time you're losing it. Now, the Tibetan Book of the Dead, which most people think is written for the person who died, because hearing is the last thing to go, they say. And so for 49 days, they lay out what's happening in the bardo levels, the intermediate levels between when you're dead and when you take a reincarnation again. But according to esoteric understanding, the Book of the Dead is first of all a book for the living, to give them the opportunity to make the greatest of all possibilities, to offer yourselves in that moment of relinquishing your body by listening to what supposedly you're saying to the dead person, but it benefits the living person to make them aware of what's about to happen. And it's important to look at your belief. The belief, for me, the word comes from an Anglo-Saxon word leaf, which means to wish for. When you believe something, you wish it were that way. And the core belief of every, I would say the core of every belief is prejudice. And that prejudice is usually swayed by emotions. So your feeling about it is more important than the clarity of your thinking. And that's how we make unjustified generalizations about how everything is. And of course, that tends us to make us stagnate in our habits and attitudes. So can you look at your belief, let aside the belief, see the prejudice, and see the emotions that help you continue that belief? Anyway, as Don Juan often says to Carlos Castaneda in those series of books, one of us has to change, and you know who that is. And one of the things that he counsels is to let go of the self-importance of your personal history and its uselessness in coming to grips with the new state of consciousness. Don't reinforce the old. Don't keep going back to what was. Don't keep freezing the image of yourself into how it has been, and then project that into the future. All right? Now, everything for me leads to a certain kind of spontaneity, where we say anything can happen at any time. The likelihood that I'll be kidnapped and held for ransom, highly unlikely, but it could happen. Yeah. So any moment that you're experiencing relative ease and a moment where you're not being challenged, remain present for that, because uplifting states will come by if you're in the here and now and not letting your mind get caught by remembering or anticipating. And then once you realize you're a focusing mechanism, then whatever you give your attention is activated in your vibration. So be a vibrational match for what you want. And then continue to aspire to that love, which even if you have a difficult time achieving it, it's worth that ideal. It's worth living for that ideal. So love as much as you can and love the diversity of life and bring that love to everything that you do.